Hello and welcome to episode number 22 of The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess, and I'm here to give you my favorite Underdog fantasy plays for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up promo code DailyDog, that's DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. Get an up to $250 deposit match bonus. Definitely worth it. Get some free money and make some plays and try to roll over that free play. Now, let's get right into the plays. I'm going to start out with my standard slip, and then later in the show, I'm going to get into my daily dong plays, my home run picks for Tuesday. So let's get right into it. We're going to start in the morning. We're starting with Wimbledon. We're going with Felix Auger-Aliassime, higher than half a set lost. This is a 0.7x multiplier. So this match is scheduled to be at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, but I feel like it'll go off later than that. Just at these big tournaments, stuff usually is not on time, so I wouldn't wait to get this in, but you might have a little bit more time than is expected here. So FAA has a really strong serve. This is on grass. It's Wimbledon. And he's a strong server. These conditions favor him, all that good stuff. But his opponent, Thannasis Kokkinakis, is a tough dude to play against. He also has an all right serve, and he just gets under his opponent's skin. You know, obviously tennis is kind of a country club sport, a lot of pomp and circumstance and whatnot. Kokkinakis is kind of like his buddy Nick Kyrgios. He will show emotion out there. He'll try to piss off his opponent, and he will try to win the game mentally, not just physically. And obviously, Kokkinakis is a plenty fine athlete as well. He's had some fitness issues lately, but so has FAA, so I'm not too concerned about that in this regard or in this specific matchup. I just think that expecting FAA to blank anybody in a big stage is just a lot to ask. I said before that he's not the toughest dude. He's a little bit of a softy. I put him in the softy category. And if Kokkinakis is on one and yelling and arguing with a judge or the chair ump and, just basically making a scene out there, it might make FAA uncomfortable. And I definitely think Kokkinakis can win at least one set in this match. I mean, I think he's actually fairly live to win it. If his health holds up, I wouldn't rush out to go bet that. But, I mean, I think that this is a little bit closer than the odds put out there just because of FAA's just because of the way that he plays on the big stage. I mean, he went out as a favorite in round one last year, 3-1 in Wimbledon. So it's not like he's got a bunch of points to protect here either. So I just really think that, just the style of play that Kokkinakis has. Kokkinakis also has an all right serve too. He's not going to be totally helpless. He obviously there's probably going to be a little bit more returns. FAA is definitely going to have more aces than Kokkinakis, but I think that there is enough kind of outside the line stuff and between the ear stuff that lets Kokkinakis get at least one set win in this match. After that, we're going to be going to a 37-year-old starting pitcher from the Cleveland Guardians, Carlos Carrasco, lower than 6 hits allowed against the White Sox. If you watch the show, you know that I remind you every couple of days, the White Sox are by far the worst team in MLB against righties. They still have the worst average, still have the worst BABIP, still have the worst slugging versus righties in Major League Baseball. Carlos Carrasco is not an elite ace or anything like that at this point in his career. He's 37. He's kind of just a guy filling in a spot at the end of the order for these Guardians. That said, he's got 14 starts on the year, and he's only allowed more than 6 hits twice. So there's a good shot of at least getting a push here. He did play the White Sox once already this year, and he allowed 6 hits in 7 innings, and he allowed 2 homers in the 7th inning in that game. A.k.a. the team kept him in there a little bit too long. That was the only game this year that he's gone higher than 6 innings played. So really our enemy in this game is the Guardians crush Chris Flexen and get up 8 runs in the 4th inning, and then the manager's like, whatever, Carrasco, just pitch till your arm falls off. We don't need to get into the pen. However, I don't think that's necessarily likely. Obviously the Guardians had a day off on Monday, so the pen should be fairly fresh. They should have some guys who are ready to work. I think that, again, when you're getting a 6 against this White Sox roster, it's basically going to be an auto take for me to take lower than that amount of hits for the starting pitcher of whoever their opponent is, especially a guy like Carlos Carrasco. Like I said, he's consistently not allowed more than that. He's allowed exactly 6 hits a lot, but again, this White Sox team is bad versus righties. They were in a weird circumstance last time they played to get to exactly 6. So I'm happy to put Carrasco in my lineup at this number, and it is a flat multiplier too, which is insane. I doubt that that's going to last by the time first pitch is thrown in this game. Next, we're going to a guy. Well, and also I'll say I was about to make this a 2-leg play and just kind of keep it simple, but I could when my guy Otto Lopez is a half total base, pick him on Underdog. I'm taking higher than half total base. He's got hits in 5 of his last 7 games. He's becoming a real piece on this team's offense. He was batting second in the order in a game last week. So yeah, Otto Lopez of the Marlins, higher than half the total base against Kutter Crawford and the Red Sox, and this one's down in Miami. So he's batting .252 on the year, not great, but he's batting .270 versus righties, and he's a righty, and he's also faced over twice as many righties as he has lefties. So he's really actually a good righty hitter, or at least a solid righty hitter. I won't say good because I don't know how many people you can say are good on this Marlins team. That said, Otto Lopez, young player, still got a lot to prove, still hungry. I love him to get a hit in this game, and it's not like Kutter Crawford is the guy that he was in the first month of the season when he was allowing 2 hits a game. He's allowed 5+ hits in 3 of his last 5 full starts, and I say full starts because his last start was cut short after 1.1 innings due to a weather delay. Yeah, I just think that throwing this in as a sweetener in this lineup makes a lot of sense. Otto Lopez can hit righties. Otto Lopez can perform for this team. And Kutter Crawford is not a pitcher that scares me. And obviously, if he gets to the Red Sox pen, anything is possible. But the dude comes up big, and he's come up big late in games as well. So even if he does start off 0-for-3, 0-for-4, I'm not going to write this off as a loss. And I think he's become a big enough part of this team and this offense that they're not going to be pulling him out of the game based on the matchup. And as I said, he's hitting righties well, and I don't think they would pull him against a lefty. So those 3 plays in this slip are Otto Lopez, higher than half of a total base, Carlos Carrasco, lower than 6.0 hits allowed against the White Sox, and Felix Auger-Aliassime, higher than 0.5 sets lost against Thannasis Kokkinakis at Wimbledon. These 3 picks together yield a 3.15x return on your money. Not a big, excessive number here, but if you want something big and excessive, you can check out the Daily Dongs, which are coming up next. The Dong Squad for today has some big names and some show favorites, I should say. Let's start off by just looking at White Sox pitcher Chris Flexen. We talked about Carrasco. Let's talk about the other side. Flexen is having some real home run issues. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 5 starts, and it's going to be in the 80s with a slight breeze out to left field in Cleveland for this game. So yeah, I'm going to take Jose Ramirez, higher than 0.5 home runs. This new daddy, he had another kid the other week. He's got 4 homers. He had 4 home runs last week alone. It's a good matchup for him against Flexen, good conditions. Let's get it, Jose Ramirez. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And if you wanted to put in Naylor or, David Fry, or basically, most of the lineup for the Guardians is going to be live to hit a home run against Flexen. But I like Jose. Like I said, he's seeing the ball really well right now. So that's why I chose him out of some of the other sluggers on this team. Next, I'm going back to Byron Buxton, who was our first Dong Slip hit since we started doing the Daily Dong segment last week. He's found his power lately. He's got 8 home runs on the year. He hasn't played the full year because he had some injury issues early, but 4 of his 8 home runs have come in the last 6 games. So yeah, he's definitely finding power. The Tigers' Tariq Skubal is, obviously a very good pitcher, but he's had some home run troubles lately. He allowed 3 home runs in his last 3 starts, 4 home runs in his last 6 starts, and he's only given up 8 home runs. He's only given up 8 home runs on the year, but most of those have come in the last 6, or at least half of those have come in the last 6. So he's a lefty. Buxton's a righty. It's not the hugest thing. Buxton actually hits home runs versus righties well, but we're getting a slight breeze out to left field here. Like I said, Buxton just seeing it well. Another guy that I'm just going to try to ride the hot hand until it isn't so hot anymore. So Byron Buxton is the second guy on the Daily Dong slip. And the last guy I'm going with. So it's going to be 100 degrees at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City when first pitch is thrown on Tuesday evening. And the pitchers in this game are Brady Singer for the Royals and Zach Littell for the Rays. These guys are not scaring anybody, and Littell has some real home run giving up issues lately. He's allowed 1+ home run in 8 consecutive games. He's got 12 allowed on the year and only 16 starts, but 8 consecutive games with at least 1 home run given up. So yeah, I'm going to take Salvador Perez in here. Salvador Perez is a righty. Zach Liddell is a righty. But 12 of Salvi's 14 home runs on the year have come versus righties. I love this spot. I love this weather, and I love it's just a confluence of great things. This is a 2x multiplier, so it's not super juicy. Jose is 2 as well. But again, I could see Salvi getting into that Aaron Judge like 1.75x, 1.5x range once people start getting their eyes on this weather forecast. So my 3 daily dong plays are home runs for Jose Ramirez of the Guardians, Byron Buxton of the Twins, and Salvador Perez of the Royals. These 3 plays on a flex, if they all 3 hit, it's 33x. And if 2 out of 3 hit, it's only a 5.5x, which, that's not that great. But hey, it's it's a flex, it's a home run slip, it's going to be high variance. And if you wanted to go crazy and just take them all 3 of them on a standard play, it's 66x if you're that greedy. But again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, and I also wouldn't recommend putting a ton of money on these dong slips. But these are the guys I like. So let's get it. I hope you guys are having a good 4th of July week, and let's make some money.